Welcome to TWALE TV. Welcome back, oh. It's TWALE TV, and well, I'm loving it because right now I have our guest again in the studio, Mr. Olu. I beg, please welcome. Looks like we're having you every day now. Welcome to the show. It's Mr. Olu. Welcome. Let me welcome you before I start running my mouth.
Always a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure.
And I thought it would be nice to have somebody to discuss this with, because this is something I would probably normally just talk about myself on the show. But it's nice you can come to our rescue. It's about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and we thought Chelsea. If you think Chelsea is spending crazy, that's child's play compared to what's going on in Saudi Arabia. Okay, and that's what we're discussing today, Mr. Alu. This sudden development in Saudi Arabia, what do you think? Do you think the impact, would they have any impact on world football? Would they make any sense at the end of the day? Because we see what happened in China. China did the same thing. The blueprint is still there. It never materialized, and everything just died down. So what do you think will be the outcome of this non-stop spending?
So I think the first thing to realize, there's a huge difference between what happened in China and Saudi Arabia. I think with Saudi Arabia, they're essentially spending the government's funds. So basically, you've got the PIF, which is the Public Investment Fund, which is like a sovereign wealth fund. From all proceeds, basically, it goes into that fund for future generations.
Tax revenues and all that.
And they've got probably about 700 billion basically in that fund, and it's growing. It's continuously evolving. So these guys,
they mean business.
They're here to stay.
But is China not the same? China too was government backed in some way.
So, but China, you have a lot of
individuals,
high net worth individuals who have not had the possibility of getting their cash out of the country for so many decades, and all of a sudden they can now travel out and spend. So basically, that's what drove that craze. But as you can see, that soon filtered out basically, and slowly just died away.
There's one thing for people to think, oh, it's crazy, it's madness, and then another thing for the other camp to say, yes. I mean, this is the camp of the Saudi Arabians who believe, yes, we're going to outspend you Europeans. We're going to build better league. We're going to build better. We're going to have all the best players in the world here. And I look at it with a pinch of salt. You know, with all due respect to Saudi Arabia, to be honest, I love Saudi Arabian government for what they're doing, because if you can be so determined to build your country, to highlight your country in the way they're doing it, even though we call it sports washing, it doesn't matter. It's for the love of the country, and they're spending their money.
But look,
they put their money where the mouth is.
They've yet to have a game-changing signing.
You're right. They're signing players in their twilight, in the twilight of their career.
Young players.
They got a couple of young players. But they got Ruben Neves. Is it Neves from Wolves?
It's not a household name. So
okay.
If they'd got Mbappe,
or if they got Nigerian striker, Osimhen nearly went for $1 million a week.
If he had gone, then I would have said,
okay.
I mean,
even
Osimhen, if they'd got him. We all know that we Africans, when it comes to money, we're slaves for money.
Okay, we take our money.
Yeah. But if they'd got Mbappe, or if they'd got Harry Kane,
that would make some statement. Yeah, but they will make that statement if they sign Mo Salah next season. It looks like he's going next season.
Again, twilight of his career.
Mo Salah too is 33, 32.
33, 34. He's at the end of his
but
career.
They have to sign Salah. He's still a top player, and is the son of the land, as they say. Omonile,
of course,
is Arab, and is a top world known striker.
And they will get Salah.
Oh yeah, they will. They will.
But
the way Salah plays, I think his mind is there already.
But
Salah's mind is there already.
It still won't elevate them into what they want to be.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you my take briefly. This is for our fans, just to see. when China was doing the whole drama, spending, I remember Carlos Tevez. He was earning 150K, and they offered him 650K. I remember, what's this Brazilian? Ramirez went. There's another young Brazilian.
Even Fellaini went.
Yeah,
Maroon
yeah,
Fellaini.
yeah. There's another player, Chelsea player. What's his name?
Oscar.
Oscar too went. And I thought, why are these young players not thinking about their career? Is this cronies? Anyway, the way Saudi Arabia are doing it is even on a different level. Say, we don't care. Whoever is ready for this money, come and take it. And people are saying, oh, it's just the money they're spending. This is my take for you fans. Now, Saudi Arabia will spend as much as they can, and they will build a good name for their country. But this is the reality. What makes European football special, in my view, is the culture. People, even not just Premier League, the lower league, not even League Two. We're talking about National League. We're talking about the people go to the stadium every week. Saudi Arabia, the top league, is not. They're just recently filling the stadium because of these big names. They haven't got that culture.
They don't even fill the stadium.
No, yes, not even all the time. So because they haven't got that culture, I'm a bit skeptical that if you don't have the culture, you can spend all the money. But hey, excuse me, who's complaining? I would love them to say, hey, Omar, shut up, bring your TWALE to Saudi Arabia, and we'll give you
$500,000 a week.
Brother, I'll be out of London like a speed.
And
So
they
I
can pay
really
you $50K a week just to be a pundit.
no, yeah. I will even back in on your behalf. Say, Mr. Olu is our special pundit. 50K is too small. Make it 75 a day. If it's coming on the show, 75 a day. So we're not against what you're doing, Saudi Arabia, but the reality is you cannot compete with Europe. As simple as ABC.
But I think what they will do, they're not going to stop. They will continue.
That's the difference between them and China.
They're not going to stop.
But if they're not going to stop, this is where the problem is now. If they're not going to stop, could they eventually achieve something?
No, because you need to.
Because if they're not stopping, they will build a culture whereby young talents will then eventually start going there.
Yeah, but they will never be fulfilled. One and two, regardless, they will go there, make their money for 3-4 years, and then they will come back.
Because there's no recognized international competitions they're gonna be involved with.
Nothing. So
no European game.
You may make a lot of money.
They won't play European game. They only play.
You'd want to come back home. I mean, listen, what they're doing is fantastic for them, but is it sustainable long term?
Yes, they've got the money, like you said.
They've got the money, but is it sustainable to grow the league the way they want to? I don't think they will grow the league they want to. But it will be similar to the US football, I think.
Yeah, but even US football is got culture more than them, because don't forget in US we have Latin Americans.
But don't forget US football. It's been ongoing now
for decades.
Since
it's been going on for decades, and it still can't compete with Europe.
Exactly.
And they have been doing their own very slowly, bringing in the Beckhams, slowly.
This is a big bang approach by China. By Saudi Arabia. It's a big bang approach, but ultimately, they will get good players in the twilight of their careers, and they will get young players who are just beginning. But I doubt they will ever attract those world-class Mbappes.
Okay.
The Kanes.
Well, I've told myself I'm never gonna come and criticize Saudi Arabia,
but what they're doing is
because
fantastic.
I am hoping they bring some of those dosh to TWALE TV. Excuse me, and if they do,
more grease to them.
The whole of Nigeria will be saluting them every day, because Nigerians, we are very patriotic. If they hear that that TWALE TV channel is now in Saudi Arabia, the owner is worth 50 million. Oh, his pundits now collect 100 million per show. Now, trust me, Saudi Arabians, if you're listening, please, I beg, come and take us. So the reality is, you will spend all the money, you will gain the good, positive name for the country, but for the football, for the purpose of competing with Europe, I can't see that happening.
No, neither can I. But what they will do is the problem they'll cause for Europe is that the younger players, the
Might yes,
young, they
might
would,
not be staying to play.
yeah, in the Prem.
I
That's the
might They
problem.
might
Yeah,
prefer the money than being playing
yeah,
Champions League.
yeah.
But if that happens and it becomes big in number, let's say more younger players are leaving because they had, oh, Mbappe left. Mbappe is earning $10 million a week. Another young players do the same. If they can afford to keep doing that, and we lose all these young players, don't you think that would have some effect
So
or impact on European football?
what you see,
Because we're going to lose the young talents that we enjoy watching.
you see a more level playing field in Europe. So if that happens to the English players, then you see the likes of the Portuguese leagues coming up a little bit. So you can see a lot. I can see a lot of Portuguese young players going there. I can see a lot of young Spanish players going there. I can see a lot of some the English. Culturally, we're not very good abroad. I call them the fish and chips brigade. So we're not very good at leaving our shores to go abroad. So I think you're more likely to see the Brazilians, the South Americans, the Europeans, like the Latin Europeans, trying it out there.
Well, I hope we've given you enough, clue on what we think, and I hope that makes sense to you. And that's why Mr. Olu is here today. And thank you for coming to
Always a
share that
pleasure.
thought with me, Mr. Olu. Thank you so much. And I hope the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia are watching TWALE TV. My main prayer is you just say we need some podcasts here to go with this football spending. And come on, inshallah, take this channel.
Inshallah.
Everything, please, because we can't really criticize them. You can't tell a man how to spend his money.
Of course not.
And if they're doing it for a positive purpose, it's their positive purpose. So if you can't beat them, join them. So well done, Saudi Arabia.
Keep it going.
Keep it going, and let's see what pans out. And then thank you, fans, for watching and listening. And I hope you still stay tuned, and we'll catch up with you at the next podcast. Hasta la vista, baby. Ciao. Very nice.
And what they're doing is fantastic.